Are you living out loud? Are you living out bold? Are you following your dreams or doing what you're told? Are you climbing your mountains and shouting out loud? Can you fly with the eagles and soar through the clouds? Are you holding in your love, too shy to convey? Holding on to words you've been longing to say? Are you brave enough to let them know you're all in? Are you courageous enough to release the quiet within? Were you the one at the dance as a flower on the wall, feeling irrelevant, unimportant, trifling and small? Were you wanting to rave and waltz with the crowd, but your fear kept you stifled from living out loud? Can you expose all your pain and let love wash it away? Once you say it out loud, you know fear cannot stay. After you tell on your woe and weep loud your grief, the silence you disobey will bring heartfelt relief. Are you walking in balance with the family inside, so you may live out loud with both humility and pride? Can you shout to the world how grateful you are for the sky and the moon, for the earth and the stars? Can you give witness to others, the God self in you? Live loud your loving and start each day anew. Will you climb to the top of the highest of peaks? Can you unbridle your passions, the aspirations you seek? So we gather as family, one heart and one clan. We know we walk wise when we walk hand in hand. There's no sleeping rainbow when we stand up and shout. This life is so colorful when we're living out loud. Breathe. Thank you. You can leave that right there for me. So, how do you like my shirt?
Yeah.
This is my shy shirt. Robin and Kim bought this for me for my birthday a couple years ago. And if we rewound back to, let me see, when did we do Emergence? 1988, 89. If we rewound to 1987, I couldn't have worn anything like this ever. Because it was too loud, it was too out there. I was one of those people at the high school dance that was the wallflower. I was petrified of asking the girl to dance because I knew they were going to say no anyway. And if they did say yes, oh my, that scared me even more. Because then I'd have to dance, and well, then they might not want to dance with me again. So the vicious cycle had me just sitting there on the bench or against the wall, amidst the other wallflowers, the other people who were too petrified to ask a girl to dance or be asked to dance. When Margie and I did our first workshop called Emergence, which was coming out, the most petrifying part of the workshop for me was the teenage years, and that was the part where we had to do like the dance, asking girls to dance, or I think we even traded and did like a Sadie's Hawkins exercise where the girls had to ask us. Didn't matter. It still was petrifying, is that those teenage adolescent years when we're coming out the most, which is when a lot of us get stuffed back inside the most and get afraid to live out loud. And there's been so many times in my own personal life I've so much wanted to, but was afraid to. And I've said this many, many times since I've been here, that the ringtone that I have from my brother there, Scott, is called Making a Noise in This World, and it's Robbie Robertson and a Red Road Ensemble. Robbie Robertson from the band. So in that song, there's a lot in there for me, because the name of the song was Making a Noise in the World. And that was always very hard for me to do, even though there's a lot of my life that is within, and I can have a lot of excitement where you might not know it, that I'm excited inside because it's an internal thing for me. But there was also a lot of moments in my life that I wasn't living out loud that I did want to. I did want to hoot, I did want to holler, I did want to have fun. And the things that have happened for me in my life that have brought that part of me out have been things that have been very unorthodox in the normal world. I was a good Catholic boy, was raised Catholic, was raised in the traditions of that religion, and there's a lot of ceremony in that religion, but it's not very loud. Matter of fact, there's a lot of that sometimes. So inside, I had all the inner selves. Yeah, Becky's flashing back too. And some of those selves inside were doing that kind of chanting. And I know I just talked about having a chanting class, but that's a different kind of chanting class. That's going to be a chant to take us inward in a healing journey, and to have all the wonderful vibrations of oming and all the different chants that we discover, have them dance in our body vibrationally and have them wake up some of those selves so that we can be a little bit more loud in this life. If you choose to, if you want to. Not everything is about completely always living out loud. There are quiet moments in this lifetime, And those are great moments, but it's, can I live out loud? I wrote a song called Look at Me Now. And one of the lines in it is, what's the line? I always wondered when still a child who I'd grow to be. Was this magic all for real? Or should I just do what I'm told? Or do I live life out and bold? And that's what this one line is right here. That, let me find myself here. It's the very first line. Are you living out loud? Are you living out bold? Are you following your dreams or doing what you're told? I was a very good kid. I did what I was told. Matter of fact, I'm still a good kid. I'm trying to break the rules. Sometimes it's very hard because I have this inner Rain Man, monk, whatever you want to call it, control guy that thinks he needs to be a good boy, and he forgets that he already is. And that this good essence of me doesn't have to do anything to be it. I already am it. So all the other people that think they're obeying and stifling themselves are actually being shoved aside, and that's fear that's talking to them. It's not anybody inside that's positive, passionate, or living their dreams that would say, hush up. Now there's times in life where our volume may be louder or quieter depending upon what the moment is, but that still means I get to live out loud. I get to go inside and bring the passions from within me out. If I'm wanting to do something and I'm not doing it, I could be screaming at the top of my lungs, making you think I live out loud, and can be living a life of a wallflower, never taking a chance. All the talks that I've done recently, there's a culmination of talks here, and I even wrote it right into the poem, with daring to be brave and being all in, and the colors of the rainbow and all of it. It's about being able to come out of ourselves with all the woe that may have happened, but all the wonder too. Sometimes we stuff our wonder in because we're afraid that it'll be too overwhelming for everybody else to show them our wonder. We talked about this last week, the schizophrenic selves and me, talked about this last week again with Marianne Williamson and the inaugural speech for Nelson Mandela, and how that piece has gotten so much attention. And the biggest line in it that for me holds is about dimming your light so that others don't feel less than around you. And it's like we so much do that instead of shining our light to the brightest so that we can show the path. We can illuminate the path before all of us. If I shine my light brighter than yours is in the moment and you're walking right beside me, you're going to be able to see in front of you too. So we can do that for each other. That's called being a beacon of hope. There's been many people in this world, in this room, that have been a beacon for me just last year alone. Well, can you be a beacon for yourself? Can you lead yourself out of the darkness? Can you lead yourself out of the quiet? This line right here, and I'm all over the place, so the silence you disobey will bring heartfelt relief. We're so good at obeying. Bill Cosby did a whole routine on the word obey, and it was really fun. If anybody's ever listened to him, I invite you to do it because he can do it better than me. But, and, what are we being obedient to? I say we've been more obedient to fear than we've been to love. And fear wants you to, and this is, I've said this word out loud before, this is a bad word in our house, shut up. Fear wants you to shut up. It does not want you to talk. It does not want you to tell your love. It does not want you to witness your faith at all in any way, shape, or form. Some of the things that in the wisdom of my parents and their mistakes, I was a talker, go figure, right? In school, I bet you wouldn't have thought that, right? And I would get done with my work really fast and then go socialize with everybody. And I'd get in trouble all the time for talking in class. So but I was also really honest too, so when I went home, I would get asked, did you talk today? And I said, yes. So I got told to write 100 times, I will not talk, I will not talk, I will not talk, I will not talk. And it shut me up for quite a while. It really worked. At all the wrong times though, because I still talked in class. And I still got in trouble, and I still was honest, and I still came home and told on myself, whether I even got in trouble that day or not. They asked me, did you talk? Yeah. They didn't ask me if I got in trouble for talking. So sometimes my own honesty got me in trouble, but that's okay because retrospectively I get to see all the lessons about where I shut up, and who I shut up, and who I shut down. And where I was afraid to live out loud, and where I was living quiet and being that wallflower, and obeying the silence, and obeying the fear, and obeying it I was perfect at it. I was like fear's #1 loyal customer. I was the most obedient client it had. And there was a lot of times that I didn't have girlfriends because I was too afraid to ask them out or ask them for a date. Find out in my mid-20s, I liked you when we were in high school. I'm like, why didn't you say something? I was shy. They even wrote a whole song for it. Just give me some kind of sign, girl. I didn't know the song then, though. Timing is everything. But it worked on me more and more and more as I saw other people having their moments of living out loud that I almost got jealous of. Matter of fact, sometimes I disdain them for their arrogance. Look at them, they're just so full of themselves. And sometimes they were full of themselves. Sometimes they were out of balance with it. I was on this end of the spectrum in low self-esteem and low confidence, and they were on the other end of the spectrum with arrogance, which I found out later was low self-esteem and low confidence. Oh. So I judged them even though I was in the same boat. We both didn't believe in ourselves. We both didn't know the wonder of our essence. We both didn't know how to take that self, that celebratory self, that God self, and live out loud with it. It's like, how many of us talk about where we come to celebrate our faith? We want more and more people to come here. Are we the witness to what we believe? Are we afraid they're going to think we're nuts like your minister? Oh man, guilt by association. When Margie and I first started in our workshops, and there was another little friend we had with us named Christina, and she knows what story I'm about to tell, we were so excited about this new feeling in us that we wanted to witness for everybody. We became like Jehovah's Witnesses, and we're pounding on people's doors, telling them about emergence and coming out of yourself. And what else did we tell them? Because I don't even know. Because they all looked at us with very strange faces, but we were so on fire and alive, we just wanted to live out loud with it and share it. Well, we were a little overzealous, a little discombobulated in that energy, but that's that spectrum, that pendulum we're talking about, that it swings from one end to the other and we find that balance. There's not every single moment to scream at the top of your lungs, but living out loud doesn't always mean it's loud. Sometimes it comes out in a whisper. Sometimes it comes out so soft. I love yous don't necessarily get screamed out loud, do they? I mean, they can. But most of the times, the first time I said I love you was kind of really quiet. But if I didn't have the gumption, the tenacity, and the boldness to live out loud in that moment, I may have never received the loving that those words offered me when I finally let them fall out of my mouth. We sang that song recently too, just let the words fall out. That was that Be Brave song. Being brave is really important when we want to live out loud. I have fooled myself before. I'll make them know I live out loud. I'll wear a shirt like this. No one can ever accuse me of being shy with wearing a shirt like this, right? No, impossible. But I fooled a lot of people throughout my life, and I think there's been a lot of us that have been fooling people throughout our lives because we're all pretty good actors and actresses. We just don't get the salary that the Hollywood folks do. Sometimes I get jealous of that because I'm like, I put on a pretty good show. And then we come to that realer part of that more real part of ourselves that is longing to come out of its shell. That hermit crab that finds its place there for a reason, for protection, from the storm only, not from each other and from feelings. We go into our shell to protect from words and feelings. We're only supposed to go into our shell to protect from the storm and to maybe heal. Go lick our wounds. Has anybody ever had a pet? And cats will be like this more than dogs will, but if they're very wounded, they will go away. They will go recluse and hide away and heal. I've done some of that this last year, my own self. It's all good. We have to go lick our wounds sometimes so we can come back out and be loud. To everything, there is a season. Well, sometimes there's a moment for quiet, sometimes there's a moment for loud. But even in my most quiet moments, I can still own the truest part of me and live out loud to my fullest. And to be a witness for the celebration I have inside of what this life has to offer. You guys have seen me sad last year, but don't dare you think for one nanosecond I lost my faith, because you'll see me bark at you. You'll see me get mad at you for that one. Because just because you see somebody walking Greek, walking low, trip, fall flat on their face, doesn't even matter. You don't know everything inside. Sometimes we have to go through it all to refine the wonder. That's what I wrote on the top of our workshop flyer. Walk through the woe to find the wonder. But if I'm not willing to shout out the woe either, and I'm willing to just let fear tell me to keep quiet about that, don't tell them that you were hurt. Don't tell them that anybody ever did anything to you. Don't tell them anything. Keep quiet. Let me see, I did that talk, one of my very first talks, when Julie walked behind my wall. And that's what fear's voice was whispering. To not let them know, to not let them see, to just stay here safe behind the wall. And the whole time, I wanted to come out, and I wanted to live out loud, and I wanted to break through all the bricks of that wall. But that voice inside was saying, obey the quiet, obey the silence, be obedient, be a good little boy, and don't you ever share with the people your feelings. They'll either think you're nuts or want you to go away because they don't like what you tap into them. And I say it out loud more and more and more. There's an entourage of people that live within us. You want them to live out loud, or you want them to live inside? The part of me that's creative and can maybe paint a rainbow on that wall, which I haven't tapped into that part of me yet, but if I was an artist, actually, you know what, I'm going to take that back, because when I have let myself do things, I've surprised the crap out of myself with what I can do artistically, because I've always known, well, I'm a writer, but I can't do anything art-wise. I can do a little, and I honor my brothers and sisters that are true artists, and they can make that wall come alive and make it look like we're looking through a window and see through life. But they have to be able to live out loud to be able to get that out of them. As a writer, I have to live out loud somewhat to get the words out of me. As a singer and a musician, you guys have to be able to live out loud to get your music out of you. There's so many different things that if we keep inside, we deny not only ourselves, but the world, our own gifts. And we're supposed to be sharing. The thing we learned in kindergarten, the very first day, share. And everybody did it really well then. If we were in kindergarten and a teacher said to sing, we'd all just start singing. But now we're afraid to sing. If I say at any given time, myself included, because as much as I like doing solos, I still have that part of me going, you're going to be off tune, you're going to be flat, you're going to be sharp, it's going to... I'm like, man, be quiet. There is a time for quiet. And sometimes it's the voices that are preventing me from coming out loud, living out loud. Those are the ones that I have to ask to just hush a little. Not shut up. Because that hurts. That hurts everybody. Just let it go enough so that I can come out here. And if I want to sing a song, sing a song. If I want to read a poem, read a poem. If I want to just tell you how I felt that day, but I haven't been living out loud, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just going to go, how you doing, Mark? Fine. Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. There's other words for that, but we'll put the nice ones in today. Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. How many of us have answered, how you doing? Fine. Most of the time, that is how we feel. And if we live out loud just a tad more every day, just a little more, little more, little more. We think we have to like go from 0 to 10 in one moment. You'll blow your speakers up that way. You have to gradually get them vibrating and get all the parts in there warm so nothing blows up and tears. Now, sometimes when we look at things like Marcy's workshop, Scott and I's workshop, and other modalities like this, the weekend or that thing is designed to turn up the volume and make it really loud on purpose to rattle the cages and sometimes rattle the things that have been stuck and rusted to the surface loose so that you can now deal with them. So that those other parts that are behind them that want to sing a song can sing a song or dance. Good or bad. I have had more fun dancing on the beach at night by myself when no other souls could see me. Well, a lot of other souls could see me, but no human eyes were looking at me in the moment. Unless they were from the hotel cracking up at the guy dancing on the beach, but that was irrelevant because I didn't know that in the moment. And I danced freely and had a blast with it, and I can tell you what, none of it was choreographed and none of it is going to make it on So You Think You Can Dance. But I was having fun. I was living out loud. And the energy that it released in me shifted my mood. It shifted how I felt. And I walked home. Well, I went home feeling different that day, feeling lighter, feeling amped up. You know, there's a song we sang when I was a little kid, and I saw it on OneDrive when I was looking for a song. It's called "Pass It On," and one of the lines in it is, "I'll shout it from the mountaintop. I want my world to know the Lord of love has come to me. I want to pass it on." Well, are we passing on our faith? We may not be in the fundamental Christian churches that we grew up with or whatever everybody's history was. We're here now. We have a different belief system. We have a belief system that goes a little bit more inward and shares the divinity a little bit more than what we were taught from that outside God place. So as we're going in there and knowing that that's who we are and knowing that this is the dreams that we're all doing and living, are we going out into the world and being out loud with it? Are we saying who we are? I was driving home from here yesterday, and I used to live on Grimes Street and Olive. So whenever I drive by there, I always look that way. Just, I don't know, familiarity. And I saw somebody hitchhiking, and they looked familiar to me, but I didn't know them, but I also thought they had a baby, and I didn't have an agenda, so I gave them a ride. And it wasn't a baby, it was her boyfriend. That you know. She worked at you with Applebee's. Her name is Courtney. She friends with your daughter, Courtney. So we're talking, and there they need to go to the Walmart, and I was going up to take care of Robin and Kimmy's dog, which is right by the Walmart. So I'm like, sure, I don't really have an agenda. And we're talking a little bit. Well, what do you do? I'm the minister right here. And then I gave him a flyer. We started just talking a little bit about life, and I started sharing with them what I do and where I do it. Now, they said they were going to be here today, but my guts knew they weren't because, well, they're young, teenagers, and, well, we know how that goes. But they have a brochure, and they may come next Sunday. The seed's been planted. But I had to be out loud with myself to a perfect stranger and say, hi, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and this is what I believe, and this is where we celebrate that belief. We all come in and join together to find our divinity, to find our humanity, to go inside and deal with all the selves that would prevent us from living out loud. Would make us be too quiet, make us be in that reclusive space too often. There's a time to replenish, a time to reseed in our own selves, and that is an alone place. Sometimes you can replenish with other people, but you're still doing it inside by yourself. We breathe in, and we open our eyes. And the moment I open my eyes again, I know that fly's been getting me too. Welcome. We remind ourselves that every single moment is another opportunity to live out loud. I've shared this with you before. My name meaning Pasqualino, means Little Easter or Little New Beginnings. So every moment that I wake up, every new day is a new day. Literally, that's what my name means. It's like, Mark, wake up. Every day is a new day. Remember this. We knew you were going to forget, so we put it on your forehead. New beginning every day. New beginning every day. New beginning every day. And in that new beginning, I have a new opportunity every day to live life out loud or to come back inside and close down with it. If I can't tell you I love you, I'm just as locked in a prison as a person who may have been dealing with drama or trauma that they couldn't get out. A lot of the things that you'll hear us talk about sometimes in our workshop about emotions is that there's only one negative emotion, and that's the one that you can't express. See, I'm like telling them some of the answers now, so you guys are going to have hints about some of the workshop stuff. But the only negative emotion being the one I cannot express. So even if I'm stuck in my love and I have all this love filled inside of me for you or it or that thing or that place or that idea, but I'm too shy to say it, to get it out of my body. This is like the parable of the talents. It's what Jesus was trying to share with the people, that when you bury your own talents and they die there, that you're disserving yourself. These are your dreams. These are my dreams. When I bury my dreams, I may be disserving you because I didn't share with you the gifts I could have offered, be it whatever the gifts, my music, my writing, whoever you are, and what you have, your artwork, your word, your compassion, your love, your wisdom, your mental capacity for figuring something out in a moment when somebody else is like, I can't figure it out. If you're too shy to go, I know how to figure that out, you're not going to tell them, and they're not going to see your brilliance, and the other person's going to get the promotion, and they're not going to do the job right because obviously you knew how to do it better in the first place. And I'm not talking about comparing and being better than each other. There's some people that can run faster than me, a homotopios, you know? And there was a moment in my life where I could run faster than a lot of other people in that moment. We all have our different talents. There's no comparison when it comes to talent. Be the best you can be in yourself. Compete with yourself about your own personal bestness. If you want to compete with something, if you want to really come out with just you to start with. This isn't something that I said, again, you're going to go from 0 volume to 10. You're going to overwhelm yourself. You're going to freak yourself out, and it's going to shut you down and make you go back into your closet, your hole, your cave, whatever you like to visualize. It's going to make you lock the doors even tighter than before. Sometimes we set ourselves up by coming out too much, too fast, too quick, whatever. We overwhelm ourselves. It's just like if I'm, just like when I had to deal with just starting to eat again. I couldn't just have a steak the first day, although they wouldn't have recommended, they don't really know nutrition. They just said, you're good to go. So for them, I could have had a steak, but I knew better. My holistic friends have taught me better, and my body's like, no way. Ease into this, ease into this, ease into this. Everything, to everything there's a season again. Take moderation and go with the flow. It's like when we turn on a faucet with realizing that we want to fill something up. Sometimes if we turn it on too full, it splatters all over the place. I think that faucet out there does that. If you turn it on all the way, I usually get water all over me. People think I peed myself. And you didn't, because you just got splashed. Sometimes that happens with us too. And it's no big deal that you get a splash here or there, but if your intention is to have a solid stream and you want to be focused, and you just released it so much that you're all over the place, you're going to disserve yourself. And I feel that it's going to set yourself back up again to go back inside and shut the door and say, I'm not going to try that again. That was scary. And fear's like, I got him or her again, just because they got a couple sprinkles on their pants. There's so many reasons for us to go back in that hole and shut down. But what I'm talking about the most, I've got the line here, are you walking in balance with the family inside? So you may live out loud with both humility and pride. Can you shout to the world how grateful you are for the sky and the moon, the earth and the stars? I'm going to do a little talk next week that's going to involve more of the sky and the moon and the earth and the stars, about our connection with the planet and the creatures. But the family inside, I'm always going to talk about. It's the most important family you're ever going to have. And if you shut them in that house and never let them go out and play, how many years is the average lifetime? I'm already looking at the times I've not let my people play. And I'm like, damn, 51 years. Now, luckily for me, some of them have been able to play for a while, some my whole life. But some of them are just now being let out of the box, the closet, the cave, the prison. You know another thing that you can look at, if this helps your mind? You know that shyness is another form of arrogance? What? Because you're making it about yourself. Yeah, that one I didn't like. It popped my brain. I don't really like that thought. What do you mean? Now I'm arrogant for being shy too? It's like, and when I looked at it that way and realized that I was focusing too much on myself with being shy, I'm like, oh, wow. That was a nice bubble to pop because it released me too. It's just about being in a moment, being who you are in the moment. Whatever you are in the moment. If you're sad, man, then cry. Somebody will hug you. If you're happy, let yourself laugh. Somebody will hug you. And they'll go like, oh, I'm going to remember that one. I want to tell other people and make them laugh. We don't usually like, oh, gee, let me remember that sad story. I want to go mess up my friends and tell them and get them all sad. We don't usually do that. Sometimes people do. You ever have those kind of people in your life? They like to keep you inside with fear. Hey, hear what I heard? And they tell you all the doom and gloom of things that happen. And it's like, just breathe into that. Know that on the inside, somebody is talking to them like that so that they stay inside and don't come out of their box or their cave or their house or whatever, again, metaphorically, you'd like to envision it as. But the biggest thing about this is about to be able to come out. And the biggest thing about this for me is about, can we come out there with our faith, with that rainbow warrior that I was talking about, with the person who's saying that they believe in a certain thing and they want to spread this message to the world, but they don't tell anybody. That's the part I'm only a little perplexed with us and me sometimes. It's like, well, say it more. Say it at Walmart. Say it at the gas stations. And I do sometimes. And I find those other times when that person doesn't want to live out loud, I have to go, okay, is this just a season? Is this just a moment for quiet for me? Or did somebody shut me up? Generally, when it comes to that, is somebody shut me up, because there would never be a reason for me not to share with you what I celebrate. You know, there's always appropriate timing, so there's timing for it all, but there's never a reason for me to not say. If I'm afraid they're going to persecute me, I've been persecuted in my past and in my present. Some people right now in my life, my personal life, like my friends, don't agree with my philosophies, don't like what I say, don't like what I believe. I'm going to talk with us, and we're all related. You have that right to believe what you want. As we believe this, I'm challenging you every day to walk out loud with this, to share with people how you feel about spirit and celebrating spirit. Be it like what you guys were talking about with Sweat Lodge, be it I was talking about a moment ago with chanting. If you want to surround yourselves with crystals and dance in the Sufi dance in the middle, live out loud whatever your passion is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you want to go back to fundamental Christian belief systems, because the magic of the universe is this: what you believe will work for you. And if you truly believe this in your guts, then live it out loud and celebrate it and be on purpose with it, to the point where when people see you coming, they're shutting their curtains so you don't knock on their door. Or they open them even wider and let you in, because they can feel your light coming from a mile away. They can feel your energy because they know you've cleaned it up now. Because sometimes we want to live out loud because everybody else not. And we'll send him. And they send the scared guy to tell everybody the news. And he's petrified, or she's petrified, to come out with that news, because the person that really was supposed to tell the news, you go. Fear still had a hold on them. It's usually the little kid that we send too. Just like when we had younger brothers or sisters, you asked Mom, I ain't asking Mom, you ask her for another cookie. Whoever that is in us that sends the little kid to go ask the authoritative figure, that's the part of us that I'm saying to breathe into and to let them out and say, no, you go. You're the protector of the children. You go speak out loud what you want. You go speak out loud your wants and speak out loud your joys. So that we can all live this dance together and live it out loud together. Scott's thing will always probably be making a noise in this world, because he makes a lot of noise in this world. He doesn't have an issue there. That's one of the gifts that my brother has shared with me. I want to pass this message on and pass it on more and more and more, because I've seen so many people in my life, and I talked about this in meditation, that I noticed in them that they were more scared than I was. They were more, I thought I was in the wall. They were like embedded in the wall. And I found myself more courageous to help those people that looked more afraid of me than me. And in those moments of being courageous to help someone else, that courage for them popped me out, because now here I am out in the middle of the circle with everybody else, something I was afraid to do. So sometimes that inner spirit in us thinks that it's helping someone else, and it's really just saying, okay, I'm going to put this person in front of you, because there is no accidents, it's just coincidences. that we can help me bring my own self out because, well, they know I'm a warrior. They know I will stand up for the innocent and the underprivileged or the underdog. The Spirit knew that about me and many other people in this world. So they put before us someone even more scared so that that warrior energy in us could come out for them. And once that warrior energy came out, it came out. And I was able to live out loud in that moment. So if you have to be the warrior for somebody else so that you can live out your dreams, I said, right on, go for it, do it. Be brave enough to do it for them so that you can be brave enough to do it for you. And I always invite us all to live out loud. Thank you.
You said, do you want to be a millionaire? Put me on a show and I win with 2 lifelines to spare. Picture this, act like nothing ever happened, and buried all the money in a coffee can. Well, I've been given more than Regis said.